I am calling this workshop meeting for the Okaloosa County School Board, Tuesday, May 26, 2026, to order. Okay, board members. All right. We're going to look at our agenda here. Right. Okay, the approval of the agenda. We have changes. One down here. It's already on here. We've added item 6.3, school start time compliance report. We've added that. And I want to pull an item from today's agenda. If you want to go down or not, 7.19. This is the renewal of the contract for the RFP 2501 School Food Service Management Operations. I want to pull that from this agenda. The reason being is that our provider did a survey. I requested the survey from Mr. Anderson, who sent it to me, but I do not believe other board members received that survey. And I would like to have discussion, which obviously you can't do if you've not seen the survey. So I'm going to ask that that be pulled off this agenda so that you will be getting that survey. And Mr. Anderson, you're sending that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I received the survey.
I was going to say I received it also.
Okay, all right. But, and just like lately, like today?
When you made the request a couple weeks ago, I've had it for a couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, I actually would like to have some more discussion on that, and I'm going to speak with Mr. Meyer. So I still would like to move it to the next agenda.
I'm fine with that.
Okay? All right, do I have to get a motion on that? Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, the only question I have is there's no urgency to this meeting, having done this meeting? Okay, so
We're
can
okay.
postpone, all right.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that will be the two changes. All right, so tonight we will approve that, all right? Moving along to section 3, we have several recognitions tonight. First of all, 3.1, recognition of the Fort Walton Beach High School cheer team as the 2026 FHSAA 1A Game Day State Champions and 2026 America's Cheerleading Cup National Champions in both traditional and game day divisions, presented by Mr. Chambers. Also in 3.2, Children in Crisis Change for Children campaign, presented by Ms. Kitty Johnson for the Board of Directors of Children in Crisis. 3.3, recognition of Connor Harmon from Baker School, the 2026 Florida High School Athletic Association Division I State Champion in the 139-pound traditional weightlifting class. And also on 3.4, recognition of Will Sloan from Baker School, 2026 Florida High School Athletic Association Division 1A Track and Field Javelin State Champion. So we'll be recognizing those athletes tonight. Okay, moving along to section 4, administrative personnel appointments. 4.1, appointment of Assistant Principal 2 of Lewis School. That's the only appointment we have tonight on that. Section 5 is public comment on the blue card, which is 3 minutes. That's based on an agenda item. 6, committee and staff reports. 6.1 is in-county travel for April 2026. 6.2 is out-of-county travel for April 2026. And 6.3, we have a school start time compliance report presented by Mr. Meyer. Is that anything you want to go over, sir? Come on up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hopefully everybody had a good Memorial Day. Madam Chair, just a few updates on the start time and the start time compliance. So several workshops ago, we talked about the start times and how there was a statutory change last July. So in 2023, legislation put out that the high schools could not start any earlier than 8:30, and the middle school's 8 o'clock. And then last July, that was changed, and it gave some flexibility amongst the school districts. So we have to report to the state by June 1st of this year, so that's coming up. And the formal compliance report has 4 different categories in it. The first one's fairly simple. We have to list our existing start times for our elementary schools, our middle schools, and our high schools. The second part, which I think you guys were all provided a list of the legislation and our compliance report, so it has all the details in there, and you could read through each one of these categories. That is what we intend to send to the state. The second part of that is the documentation of the strategies that we considered, and we went over those last time. But it has to do with our tiered bus schedule, extracurricular activities, staffing, and of course, after school and before school child care. Then we had to look at the logistical and financial impacts, and that's laid out in there as well. But the amount of additional buses and drivers, that was a big financial component, along with other things. And then the unidentified consequences, and that is laid out there as well. But living in a military community, how this affects the military, each section of our county, how it affects our staffing, our employees, all the way through. So that is compiled and ready to go. Wanted to give you an update that was ready, and that we need to get that to the state to keep the times in place where we're at. Any questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I have a question. So if we did not get this in by June 1st, we got to go by their requirement,
Yes, sir.
okay? And their requirement still is a little bit later?
No, that would be for next school year. If we did not do,
We would have to push them
yes,
back.
Yes.
And so they're still going down that route of later start times that they initially passed?
yes,
But but the local school district can say, hey, this is what we want to do and this is why, and that's sufficient enough?
yes.
Okay.
Other than this compliance report, there's no other things that we have to provide the state.
Okay, and then this board decides if we want to go with that or not? Okay, upon your recommendations.
Yes, the superintendent's right.
Just, I was trying to get this all straight.
That's right. Yep.
And just for context, so when this was passed originally, where we were going to have to go, when I say we, the entire state was gonna have to go to the later times, a lot of, I think, feedback started coming in across the state. And so that feedback, it was just simply concerns of implementation. And so what I think you'll see is across the state, several doing what we're proposed to do, which is some might tweak, many are keeping their start times as is. But it was brought out by feedback across the state, which then there was new legislation which gave each school district the ability to make their own choice for their own school district.
And that was my point I wanted to make to the public. I mean, I know the state has, they direct the school system for everything, but the paternalistic attitude that they got to tell us everything. I appreciate the state saying, if we want to do what we want to do, let us do it. That's bottom-up government. I appreciate that.
Now, to clarify, the recommendation is in front of you, but I don't think there's a vote needed to approve this.
Right. We just have to be in compliance, and this is something we're gonna do every year. We have to do this every year, correct?
My understanding is,
Yeah, until they decide to
Correct.
actually change the law.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because remember, board members, as part of this process, you've already conducted one or more public hearings and discussed this in meetings and workshops, and that's what's been incorporated into the report from the superintendent.
We started back in February, I think.
And even workshops before that.
So basically, this is just for our information,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
this is what you're filing. Terrific.
And And as Mr. Heinley said, I'm grateful to the legislature for going back and revisiting this and creating additional language that allowed districts to respond in the manner that they felt was most appropriate for them. I would be curious, though, maybe at a later time, you might share with me if charter schools were compelled in this direction, and then also even private schools that might receive state money. Be interesting to see if their times were the same.
That would.
Good point.
Well, and I would just finish up my piece, and you may have more. We just thought it was important before submitting to the state that we brought it back to the board.
Thank you.
Anything else, board members? All right, thank you, Mr. Meyer. All right, moving along to the consent agenda, 7. 7.1 will be the approval. 7.2 will be approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 27th and minutes of the workshop meeting of May 11th and the regular meeting of May 11th. 7.3, appropriation of District 1 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Edge Elementary School for outdoor turf in the amount of $4,640.34, presented by Dr. White. 7.4, appropriation of District 2 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Edge Elementary for outdoor turf in the amount of $7,000, presented by Mr. Destin. Excuse me. 7.5, appropriation of District 2 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Fort Walton Beach High School for archery equipment in the amount of $1,155, presented by Mr. Destin. 7.6, appropriation of District 3 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Walker Elementary for school signage in the amount of $3,760.50, presented by myself. 7.7, appropriation of District 4 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Walker Elementary School for school signage in the amount of $3,760.50, presented by Mr. Bryant. 7.8, appropriation of District 5 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Edge Elementary School for outdoor turf in the amount of $7,100, presented by Mr. Heinley.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to notify the other board members and clarify that for months I've been saying I'm out of money. All of a sudden, I have $7,100. It's because I had committed this to Edge 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and she convinced you guys to help out, so I appreciate that. So once I pay this, I've got $14.57. Put that on the public record.
So now it's official.
Now it's official,
Well,
if you vote for it.
We accept some sort of IOU situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
as other board members comment on different things like donations and all that, I always like to comment when we do things together here, and even though myself wasn't part of that Edge, I mean, Ms. Vanchek helped with Walker, we all do things to help each other out. So when people like yourself spend all that money, we can help you out and all that good stuff. So, but it's always great to be part of a team here.
Absolutely.
And we help each other out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. 7.9, budget amendment number 8, fiscal year 25-26, presented by Ms. Perry. 7.10, monthly financial statement ending April 30th, 2026, presented by Ms. Perry. 7.11, invoices to be approved for payment, presented by Ms. Perry.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
If it's okay, Mr. Superintendent, I understand that the legislature has a proposed budget in place. Are we free to make a comment right now, or is that something we probably would like to wait on? Because I'd like to compliment our CFO over there for all the work she's put into this, but now she will probably have some numbers to look at.
Absolutely.
So would it be okay for her?
So right now, as we know, we're in the 72-hour cooling off period. And I think,
I hate to put you on the spot, but I know Julie has really worked hard at every scenario, but I just was curious.
Well, I haven't received any documentation yet. I've been checking the websites and the conference committee. The conference reports are not available, so I don't have the numbers yet. Once I do, then I'm gonna have to review not only the numbers, but also any additional rule changes of how we can use the money in order to see how it affects us.
But the good thing is we,
At least I can move on now.
right.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent.
Okay, great. All right, 7.12, school donations, presented by Ms. Perry.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, $7,700 donated to the Okaloosa County School District, over $500 last month. Our year-to-date is $530,339.71. This last month, Focus School Software donated $5,000 to help out with the conferences. So, but community just steps up over and over. Car Riggs and Ingram did a total of 3 different ones for Meigs Middle School. So, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, 7.13, payroll warrant register and accounts payable warrant register totaling $46,275,608.14. Self-health insurance claims and fees totaling $4,145,695.74. And bank transfers totaling $15 million for April 2026, presented by Ms. Perry. 7.14, revised fiscal year 25-26 and 26-27 child care fees for Elliott Point Elementary, presented by Ms. Perry. 7.15, agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida and Kev Group, Inc., presented by Ms. Perry. 7.16, Resolution 26-05, authorizing the approval of a second administration amendment to lease schedule for certificates of participation 2024. The School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida Master Lease Program, adding certain improvements that may be financed with the proceeds, presented by Ms. Perry. Okay. 7.17, renewal of ITB 23-04 painting bid, presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.18, tag-on bid, purchase over $50,000, Playmore, presented by Vince Wyndham, Program Director. 7.19, renewal of contract for RFP 2501 School Food Service Management Operations. This is the one I've asked to be pulled. 7.20, renewal of contract for RFP 25-02 Real Estate Broker Sales Service, presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.21, tag-on bid purchase over $50,000, Williams Scotsman, Inc., presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.22, multi-year exempted purchase over $50,000, Follett Software, presented by Mr. Wyndham.
Madam Chair, I have a question on that one.
Okay.
So this, I know this software is what we're doing every year. It's an annual thing. And so we do it per school, is how I read it. So did it change from last year? We're going down 2 schools, we're adding 1 school. Is that represented in there? I didn't know what it compared to like last year, if it
Yeah, that should be the case, because the 2 schools that are no longer there would not be a part of it, and then Pineview would be a part of it.
Okay, all right, just checking. Thank you.
7.23, amendment of professional service agreement 26-01 Nova Engineering and Environmental, presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.24, professional service agreement 27-01 Nova Engineering and Environmental. 7.25, renewal of fuel purchasing agreement between Almirante Fire District and the School Board of Okaloosa County, presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.26, ESOL add-on endorsement program, presented by Dr. Anita Choice, ESOL Program Director.
Madam Chair, I have a question on that one.
Okay.
I need a little deep dive on this one. So it looks like we're giving 2 choices to do the endorsement. To to have this endorsement from the state, is that correct?
Come on, Dr. Small.
Hi, it's my understanding it's not two choices, but anyone moving forward for an endorsement will have these requirements. So it's an updated version of the current requirements.
So is this a requirement for our teachers, or is it voluntarily, what's?
For our our teachers have to be endorsed in ESOL in elementary schools, and so someone coming into our field would need this endorsement, and these are new add-ons to obtaining that endorsement.
Okay, so it's a requirement at our elementary school teachers to have this endorsement
It-
by the state.
Yes.
Here comes Mr. Braun.
And, okay, and then, so, reading this, there's 243 languages in the state of Florida that are represented.
Yes.
And there's 402 out of field for ESOL.
How many?
402 is what I read in there, out of field, certifications for ESOL. So it seems onerous for our elementary teachers to do. Do they get any extra money for getting this?
So let's go, and we also have Mrs. Duran's up here as well. However, so when you see a number of them that are out of compliance, in terms of not having that endorsement, when they're working on it, they're out of field, but in essence in compliance, but they're working towards it. Do they get? Let me back up there as well. So when we do our legislative priorities, this is one of the items that we talk about, that each individual item of itself is good for students. But when you pile on all the additional things that are good for students, which is a great thing, but when that individual teacher has to do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and we have actually showed a list of all the different ones, it's just a lot. So we've asked, how can we look at this maybe differently with all the requirements that are put upon teachers, not necessarily in a negative way it's being done, but how can we look at, when we're talking about retaining teachers in today's public education, how can we take some things off of that plate? And Mrs. Duran, you may want to give just a little bit of clarification.
Sure. So elementary teachers, K through 6 certified, and ELA at some of the secondary are required to earn a ESOL endorsement. Elementary teachers do not have to start that coursework until their second year of teaching, and they are meant to take one course per year for 5 years, because that's how many courses there are, to reach that goal. So that pretty much covers it. That's how we've been able to slow down or lessen the workload, if you will, because they also have the reading endorsement that they've got to be completing if they didn't do that prior to being hired here.
And Madam Chair, I know you well remember the requirement for secondary language arts teachers.
Yes.
Actually, just 2 years ago, I renewed my certificate and did it.
Right.
Mr. Braun, I went and got online and did it.
And it was quite extensive, and I know some teachers have said that it was basically the equivalent of a master's degree in terms of.
Well, they have scaled it down some, but
It's scaled down some.
plus they have to have the ESE added
Right.
piece.
But
Yes,
for Mr.
and we
Heinlei's question-
do have a mechanism in place to reimburse the teacher that is adding the ESOL to their certificate. The year that they add it, we have an MOU, I suppose, or it's in the budget, that they will be reimbursed the cost of that test and adding it.
And regarding the requirement, probably would need Mr. McInnes to give me a review of the consent agreement, I believe, that was reached with the state of Florida as a result of litigation, and which basically passed the requirement on to our folks. Is that right, Mr. McInnes? Or maybe you can take a look at that and share that with us.
Well,
And I think, and also to respond to your comment about 400 out of field, so Mr. Chambers addressed that. They're out of field until they have completed all 5 courses. They're compliant when they're doing one a year. So we kind of monitor that and make sure they're moving forward.
and I understand that, and it's basically a state requirement that we're having to try
Yes,
and meet.
yes.
I get that, I understand that. Principally, I disagree with it. You know, compassion without prudence and reasoning, I mean, can cost too much. I mean, and so principally is the issue. The way you provided a couple options, I'm all on board with that, but principally, I have a problem with that. I mean, there has to be, I understand it, we want to help the child that comes in, no matter who they're from, where they're from, or whatever. And if we don't do that, then our grades reflect that, and, you know, it looks like we're doing a poor job. And at the same time, 423 languages in this state?
It is a lot, and those courses do help, and the idea is it helps for any language, provide a scaffold, teaching teachers to use visuals and different other little techniques, no matter what language that they're from. But just to speak to your point, right here in Okaloosa County, Destin Middle School had 17 languages represented in that little middle school alone.
And
Which is just
I don't think the
phenomenal.
public realizes this. I didn't realize it before I got on the board. It's something that the public needs to know about. We need to help out. I don't like the state jamming these requirements down, but we gotta do what we have to do. But principally, it's an issue for me, but thank you for the explanation. I just wanted to clarify that.
So, Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yeah.
And I'll just follow up on Dr. White's remarks earlier about this is for public school teachers. So what about like charter school and private schools who receive taxpayer dollars? Are they under the same guidance? So Mr. Ron's going to come back up here. And the reason why I bring these up, it just shows that, you know, these are the challenges that we face. And
Absolutely. I can't speak to the private schools, but I can speak to charters. And yes, they are held to the same line, and we, in the professional services office, keep monitoring that. And they're just as responsible to report to our school when they have a teacher that's out of field or not in compliance.
My understanding on the private side, they are not.
And we talk about foreign languages across the state. I believe in Okaloosa County, we have like 40-something foreign languages that are spoken in our schools.
I'm sure.
And what I found out was we would think that Spanish is number 2, obviously, but I was kind of surprised to hear what was number 3, and I thought it would be like Haitian or Creole or something like that. It was actually Vietnamese. So, I mean, that tells you how diverse our community is, and for those challenges that these teachers have to go through. And yeah, I agree with the certifications are great, but it is just kind of like Mr. Heinley said, you just keep piling it up on them. So and you wonder why we don't get people wanting to get an education anymore. So it is a challenge.
Yes, sir.
One clarification for all you YouTubers out there. I think I said 423 on the languages. I said 243 the first time. I think I said 423. It's 243 languages. So if I made a mistake on that, no comments out there. So 243.
And going back to what Dr. White referred to, Mr. Bryant, I had been teaching over 20 years, and they came in and said, all you English teachers have to go and do this. And people had been teaching, years and handling it, but suddenly they decided not. So that's what happens. Okay, so let's move on. 7.27, school affiliation agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida, and Fort Walton Beach Rehabilitation Center, presented by Mr. John Williams, Director of the Okaloosa Technical College. 7.28, contract for school health services between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Aviana Healthcare, presented by Ms. Schroeder. And I see our friend, Ms. Bobby, is here today, and didn't know if you wanted to come up and they usually have some great statistics to show us about our health services with our students in schools. Good morning, Bobby, how you doing?
Good morning, doing good. How are you?
Hanging in.
So what Ms. Schroeder just passed out is the data. We have to collect data every month for all the students that are seen in the clinic on everything that we do, from as little as just needing to, use the restroom, if there's first aid, medication administration. So we collect all that data. So this is the spreadsheet that we supply to Department of Health every month. And I also supply it to Ms. Schroeder. If you look at it, we compared last year's numbers to this year's numbers. So the last column is 24-25, and then the first column is this last school year, 25-26. Our numbers have just increased tremendously. Just our medications alone, we've gone up. We're at 62,413 total doses of medications that we administered this year. So we went up about 8,000 doses this year compared to last year. It's a lot of medication that we're administering.
Especially with a decline in enrollment.
Are you guys just simply more efficient at handing them out, or are children sicker? Are parents over-medicating their children? That's a lot in a year.
It's a lot. We're getting more and more medical diagnoses of students requiring medications, and so we are administering. And there is a lot of those are as-needed medications, cough drops, Tylenol, Motrin. But with the new law that came out, a couple years ago, students can now carry their own Tylenol and any headache medication. So we're seeing a decline in PRN medications, but we are seeing an increase in our prescribed medications.
Ma'am,
Yes, they're more efficient.
And we are more efficient.
so you said 62,000?
Yes, sir.
I don't see that number on here.
It's if you
Add
look
it
at if you add them up. So it says total medications administered, the third line in gray. There's 46,060 doses that were administered by our health techs, 14,495 administered by our LPNs, and 1,858 administered by registered nurses. So that totals 62,413.
Okay, I'll take your word for that.
Okay. You see that? Yeah.
What's the threshold difference between a minor injury and what classifies it minor versus major injury?
A skint knee, small paper cut, that's going to be a minor injury. A major injury is going to be something that's probably going to require a parent to come pick the child up or be seen outside of the clinic by a doctor afterwards.
We've had a few on-campus fractures this year. One even life-flighted from one of our schools because of that. Those things like that, and especially if you're calling 911 for an injury, that would be considered a major injury.
And down at the very bottom, it shows you how the outcomes of each one. It shows you how many students were sent home, how many students were returned to class, and how many total emergency room 911 calls we had. And so the 911 calls this year, we had 131 911 calls just for our students. That doesn't include any of the staff that we assist or parents that happen to be on campus at the time, because we can't track those in focus. But just our students alone, our emergency room visits did increase.
I do have a question about that. If we call 911 from a school, how is that funded?
So Ms. Cato is not here, but there's insurances that
would have
play,
that? Yeah.
both on, I think, the school side and family sides.
Okay, I was just curious about that. I also want to say, this is phenomenal, the record keeping. Just keeping up with this, and you do this all in focus, but every time someone's in there, you've got to stop and,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm sure that you can't say, hold on a minute, I got to fill out a form. I mean, I've seen the nurse's office, so to speak. It's just, you got one here, there, that, it's amazing what you're doing as far as keeping these statistics. I think in itself, that's just incredible. I appreciate that effort to do that.
Focus has been amazing. It's been a blessing on our end as
When-
far as keeping this.
When did Focus come on board online?
A couple years.
3 years ago?
About 3 years-ish ago,
Is this
I think 2023.
This data is fascinating.
what I'm trying to tease out, and I'm stuck, I haven't even made it past the fourth line on minor and major injuries. So it looks like there's been a 2,000 incident increase, and at least with the tech's interaction with minor injuries from 24-25 to the next year, from 12,007 to 14,600, and you go, oh my gosh, 2,000 more? But also, if you look at the line below, most of the major injuries have stabilized, which from year to year, I mean, there was a difference that the RN interacted, only one. Okay, so that's not a jump. 38 versus 32, that actually, with the LPN, that actually, major injury, that dropped. There was a jump a little bit with the techs. Can you, I'm back to my original point. I'm like, what's going on here? Are we just better at data collecting as time goes on?
Over
A
the
bit?
last couple of years, yes, our
Okay.
data collection has gotten better, but over the last 2 years, it's been consistent.
That's good. That's a good thing.
And I want to give a shout out to our IT department and Wendy Meserve, because when we got Focus, there was not this program in Focus to document. And Wendy Meserve and her team built this program directly for us to manage this data. This data has to be, we're required to submit it to the Department of Health every month. Bobby was doing it pretty much by hand and through Excel prior to that. And so again, a huge shout out to Wendy and her team for building this program for us, because it does give us a much better picture of what is actually happening in our schools and in our clinics.
I notice here the fear of every parent that has a child in school. Head lice has actually gone down.
Hallelujah.
Well, y'all get all those kids.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Riley, because our heads start itching.
We have had some great donations from some individuals outside of our school this year that have supplied us with head lice kits. So we've been able to, if a student does come in and we do notice positive head lice, we have been able to provide those parents with kits to help them treat their students at home.
I do want to point out, board members, that on the education piece of this, if you look down there, what I think is impressive is how many students you're getting back in class. Because we all know keeping kids in class, if they're healthy and can be in class, is the most important. Otherwise, if it weren't for these professionals, you'd have no choice but to send them outside the school. I think, look at that, look at those numbers, that they're able to help them with their skin knee or whatever it is, and get them back into class. I think that's a major accomplishment to.
The return to class this year, we have 165,734 students that we were actually able to return to class, so they weren't missing their education time. Where last year we had 154,000, so about 11,000 more this year we were able, that we seen in addition, because even our total numbers that we seen in the clinic, we had total that we seen in the clinic, if it was sent home, returned to class, or an emergency room call, we had 175,000 this year, total clinic visits. That's if a student stepped foot into the clinic, we documented in Focus that they were in the clinic and what they were in there for. Last year, we had 164,000 students that we've seen. So it's about 11,000 more this year that we've seen actually in our clinics. We stay busy.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the numbers are interesting too, considering that we have, 28,000 students in our entire school district. And I mean, you can do the math. I mean, you're talking, if each student went, that's 4 times, at least 4 times they go to the nurse. Now we know it's not every student. But I also like to comment on Focus, Mr. Destin. This was a piece that we voted on as a board before you came on. And I think what people, once we got past the initial shock of Focus is maturing now, and it's going to make life so much easier for everybody when it comes to data collection and all. And so it's great to hear that Focus is living up to what we voted on a few years ago. So
I love it. I'm super happy we have it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's real important. Every year I ask Bobby to bring this to you when we bring you their contract, because I really think it's important that you guys understand. I mean, it's a multi-million-dollar contract, and I want you to understand what you're spending our money on. It's not one of these contracts that we don't really do a whole lot with. Not that we do any of those, but their people are working and they're doing a great job for our kids, for our schools, for our admin. They're doing a lot out there, and I think this is money very well spent to benefit our district and our students. And I just want you to see that. I'm amazed every time I look at this. How did we do that?
I am too. How did we do that?
But I do have to speak to Bobby and her partnership, because she is the program coordinator for Aviana, and she does all of this work. She and I talk almost daily with questions or collaboration or things like that. But I mean, she does the heavy lifting out there, and I just support her in that work. But she does a fabulous job.
Can I make one other comment real quick? So, me and Miss Davis go back a long way, and she's an awesome nurse. But you talk about what nurses do in school, and you see all the data that we collected, but, and I refer to this all the time, but nurses do more. So how I got to know Miss Davis was when my oldest son went to Richburg Middle School, and guess who was out directing traffic? Miss Davis was out directing traffic. So it just shows you that they're part of the team, and I'm not saying that nurses are out there directing traffic now. It just tells you the dedication they have to the school and how they are such a vital part of the team. And, you know, we do appreciate all of our healthcare workers out there, because we do know they do more out there than just what we see on this here. So.
And her staff will be supporting at Niceville High School today for the ECG program that we've started with our athletes. So they will be spending their afternoon 2 to 7 helping with that. So that's in addition to.
Yeah, we're volunteering that time.
That's awesome.
Volunteering on our side.
And I also wanted to point out that last summer, Ms. Schroeder asked me would I be a representative from this board on the SHAC, the Student Health Advisory Council, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I've been doing that. We do that as a Zoom quarterly, and I can tell you, I see what Bobby and the others do. I learned a lot just from, you know, I don't have much input, but I listen to what's happening. And so, yes, you're going back to your point about they really work through a lot of things, and it's not just, okay, we got this. They seek ways to improve things. They compare and constantly work with each other to what can we do better? How can we make this more efficient? Of course, ultimately for the students. So I can attest to that. So
I appreciate your help on that committee.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair, I have a quick question. You okay? Go ahead. Ms. Schroeder, what portion of, so Silver Sands is one of my schools. I know our students there usually, many of them have substantial and complex medical conditions that we manage while they are with us. What portion of our special needs students and your interactions is captured in this data set? All of it, some of it?
All of it.
All of it?
Yes, if the clinic staff works with that child, then it is captured in this data. We do have 2 staff at Silver Sands. We have an LPN and a health tech that work together, and then there's an RN that oversees that school that is there quite frequently, probably 3 to 4 days a week assisting, because it's a busy school.
And if you want that data, we can certainly get that for you by school.
Yes, we
can
have it
certainly
broken out
help
by
with
school.
that.
Well, and the reason I'm interested in it is I've had some conversations with Jay Trumbull and some of the other members of the legislature, and how the voucher system and school choice has affected how parents make decisions on where kids go, but also how the system can also cause a reverse consolidation where children with complex and therefore expensive medical conditions may be sort of not welcomed or perhaps just flat out not accepted into a charter school or a private school. So we as the public school system, we take those children, that is our charge. But I'm interested in understanding what sort of the percentage of that carrying cost is for our district versus how much we're spending in general treating, let's say, your skint needs and your aspirin administration, or some child that needs glucose, but otherwise, because it's a big, long, complex, dynamic discussion about, hey, listen, if the public school system is going to, by and large, meet the educational needs and also the medical needs of students with complex physical medical conditions, hey, state, help us at least pay for it. So that's kind of why I'm interested in sort of the splitting of the hairs. So Ms. Schroeder, if you have an opportunity to send me some of that info, that'd be great.
One further question. You mentioned ECG. Is that like EKG?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that's mandatory by July 1st, am I correct? For all our athletes? And we have a program in place for that, for all our schools, all our athletes? Okay. That's 9th through 12th grade.
Who we play for is who the district is working with. Aviana staff are already set up as volunteers to assist them with the screenings. They've already completed Laurel Hill. We have Niceville this week. We have Choctaw, I think, Saturday, or it's coming up. And we've got Crestview High School already scheduled. Fort Walton Beach High School is scheduled. So they're right now they're trying to get to all the high schools.
Is that an annual requirement?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No. It's
Just ninth grade.
Just
Or
ninth
first-time
grade.
athlete.
The first-time athlete,
First-time athlete?
yes.
Okay. Interesting.
In our high schools.
Right, 9 through 12, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Anything else?
Thank you guys for.
Appreciate it. Great to see you. Okay, moving on to 7.29, self-help project, purchase and install a new wooden deck and pavers for the amphitheater at Plute Elementary School, presented by Mr. Dustin Keith. That sounds like a neat project. 7.30, approval of multi-year agreement with CASA Public Strategies, LLC, presented by Mr. Wyndham.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
I love this one. I mean, Sue, kudos for this, because it's a contract, it's a performance contract. I mean, I love that. I mean, if they produce, they get paid. If they don't produce, they don't get paid.
Appreciate that.
So good job.
That'd be great.
I would agree. It's also another layer of advocating for our schools. So.
And I appreciate you saying that, because it's what we said several months ago, and maybe even into the first semester, is we have to do our part as it pertains to doing everything for our school district, from advocating to marketing to helping to do things to get our student enrollment back up or where it needs to be, and this is one layer of that.
Okay. All right, moving on to Section 8, Superintendent's Human Resources Recommendations, 8.1 for information only, employees on administrative leave, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.2, information only, deferred retirement option program, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.3, employment separations, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.4, personnel recommendations, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.5, employment transfers, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.6, employee suspension, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.7, leave without pay, presented by Ms. Maxey. At this time, there's nothing on 9, the discussion.
Can I make a comment real quick about, so Ms. Maxey, thank you for adding the line with new hires. I appreciate that. I know that was a request I made, so thank you for that.
Okay, great. All right. At this time, there's nothing on the discussion agenda, Section 9, so we'll move on to 10, Construction Program Owners Representatives Business. Mr. Heinley, you gave a good report earlier in the month. Anything else?
No, man, no further on my report. If you have any questions on 10.2, 10.3.
Yeah, we're about to go to that.
10.4, just let me know.
All right, let's look at those. 10.2, Program Number 6, Task Order Number 23, Time and Materials for High School Auditorium Upgrades, presented by Mr. Dustin Keith. And this looks like we're looking at Choctaw, School Line, and Niceville. Okay. All right. And then 10.3, Program Number 6, Task Order Number 12, Scope Modification Number 9, GMP Niceville High School Cafeteria Renovation Sales Tax Project, presented by Mr. Dustin Keith. Okay, renovating the cafeteria. Okay. All right, moving on to 10.4, Program Number 6, Task Order Number 39, Scope Modification Number 4, GMP Crestview High School Parking Paving Project Phase 3, presented by Mr. Dustin Keith. Is this the final part of that parking lot?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Great.
And all these, these are scheduled for summertime. So that's why we put them in what we did.
Well, and looking at looking at all the projects here, I know, if you've ever been in the Niceville cafeteria, I mean, it definitely needs an upgrade. Of course, I've been saying for years, the Crestview parking lot needs to be done. It's gonna be done finally. So all of these are much needed, dues for the schools here. So, it's great to see this. And like Mr. Riley said, it's a summertime thing. So when the kids come back in the fall, they're gonna have all these updated, projects here.
All right, moving along to section 11.1, attorney's business. Mr. McGinnis, anything today?
No report this morning.
Thank you, sir. Moving to 12, the superintendent's business. Mr. Chambers?
Thank you, Madam Chair,
Information?
School Board. I do have a few things that I would like to discuss, and then also have a presentation that I would like Dr. Small to present, which will continue on the Okaloosa Reimagine.
Great.
But first, I just want to say some things about graduation. I first want to say congratulations to each of our seniors. As you know, the last 2 weeks we've been at the schools, and we've seen these graduations unfold before us. I think when you see those students come across, from the shy student who shakes your hand to the student who does the Dougie, who comes across and gets all excited, it's just neat to see all these years come together in one moment. But to hear the families, when their child comes across, when I say hear, whether that's some new things that I saw this year, some beautiful sparkling things that flew through the sky, to the noises, to the cheers. Just, it's just a great sense of pride for families, but it's also a sense of pride for communities coming together to celebrate our graduates. It's also a time where you see all the hard work that particular teachers or staff members did to help that student walk across that stage. And those are some of the stories that won't necessarily be told, but that student will know that there was a teacher, there was a staff member, there was an administrator who made a difference in their life to get them to walk across that stage. And I think that's spectacular. Also, the hard work that went into getting that night set up, as you all saw when you were there. But then there's also the completely behind the scenes folks who did the live streaming. And Mr. Spolsky, come up for 1 second, and I want to do just a quick shout out to those individuals who were at every graduation, and they were there the day before, that morning, making sure the sound and everything was there just to make sure that things went well, especially for those not in this country who are serving our nation, to be able to watch their child graduate, which they would not have had the opportunity to do without this live stream opportunity.
Thank you, Superintendent Chambers, Madam Chair, Board. Outstanding week last week with all the graduations spread out throughout our district. And of course, one of our key people that works on our digital side is Ms. Hillary Demers. She captures a lot of the successes and the exciting things that go on in our district in the digital sense, which you're looking at right now with those pictures. But also that team, we had Titan working with us. We had our instructional technology team working with us. And it is a large group that is associated with that, whether it be Paul, Dwayne, Eric. And as the superintendent mentioned, I will tell you that we had a large increase. At one time, I saw Eric's counter where we had 300 watching Niceville's, 350, 400, 408, 500. As we have all those folks that are off in different parts of the globe, they could get on our YouTube links and then watch those. So Irma, all of the support people from behind the scenes, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smolsky.
Mr. Superintendent, real quick, Mr. Smolsky, do we have a roundabout number, how many countries were?
We do not, but I'll look and see if Eric has something like that. A geographical map would be very interesting to see.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Superintendent, speaking of graduation and the size of our county, and a lot of my board members are there, but one day we went from Destin to Laura Hill, over to Baker, and then back through all the way back here to the district. I mean, this county is huge when you try to do 3 graduations in one day. It's from the barns to the beaches.
Yep.
And I'm glad you said that, because oftentimes folks will think about our 6 major high schools: Silver Sands, great graduation, as you all know, Richburg, great graduation, Okaloosa up, Project Search, and it goes on. So it's, yes, our 6 major high schools, but it's each of our programs that we recognize on those students who are going into the next chapter of their life. So just appreciate all the support of each of you being at these different graduations. And we'd like to all be at all of them, but we have to divide and conquer to get to where we can be. So I just appreciate that.
I'll just tell you, we talk about all that, but then if you go to a kindergarten recognition, like at Bob Sykes, got to go to that, class of 2038, that just is, it's hard to believe it's only 12 years away, but 2038, think about it,
I also want to comment on, for our big high schools, the 4 new fields were stunning. And not only do they look so good, the vivid things, and then, of course, each of the schools, like you said, really went way out to decorate up and make it, a football field brings with it a certain ambiance that maybe, but they really go out of their way to make that high decorum as best as you can. When you're talking about a stadium filled with people and all the excitement, but they decorate it nicely and try and make it as as serious and give it the respect that it does for the ceremony. And I just know that looking at it when you get out there, those fields just really did shine, and I know people enjoyed being out there, and all the school colors were so vivid on the field and everything. It was a very proud moment.
I appreciate you saying that. And then this board knows that in many places, graduations happen in a convention center. Mm-hmm. And I say that because our sound systems have been hit or miss at times, and this year I just appreciate from Mr. Meyer and his group and the schools' proactive measures really put a lot of attention into the sound systems, and many of them are much improved this year, so just appreciate that. Also, many of us were at the Take Stock in Children's Stars ceremony. As you know, that's a huge program for this school district, and to watch those students who receive these scholarships to be able to now go into the next chapter of their life, and then the incoming 8th graders to now be able to receive these scholarships through the Okaloosa Public Schools Foundation and the work that they do. So just very much appreciate that, and that was a great event for our students. I do want to share, and there's going to be more to come on this as we go forward, but our partnership with Space Florida. And we are, just like many parts of the state are, we're in partnerships with Space Florida, and especially when it deals with aerospace, especially when it deals with engineering. But when you look at Space Florida and what they're trying to do, it's not just about astronauts going to the moon and beyond. It's about all the other pieces, from literally those who sew to those who are doing the advanced manufacturing. So it's all the different entities that happen over there to be able to have the whole space program work. And we will have even more so in our career and technical education courses specifically, in the engineering, the aerospace, the cybersecurities, the advanced manufacturing. So we're in a partnership with Space Florida. And earlier, I want to say last week, but it could have been the week before, so much has been happening. But actually the CEO from Space Florida was here by direction of Nathan Sparks with One Okaloosa. And we have a partnership with Space Florida for those CTE courses. So more will be coming on that, but to me that's exciting, especially for students in this area.
Mm-hmm. And how many school districts are actually part of this? It's not very many. I think it's
less than 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's like 7. So to be a part of that, that's huge. So
then you look at kind of a nice transition from that. Our CTE summer camps, as you know, we have a lot of CTE summer camps, and what's normal, so to speak, during the summer is athletic camps. band camps and such. But we have a lot of CTE, Career Technical Education camps. And a lot of this is also made possible by the Frederick A. DeLuca Foundation, but just very appreciative to have these camps 6th through 9th grade. We've even in the past had them at the elementary level as well, but our CTE department, Mrs. Beasley, our CTE teachers across the district putting on these camps because it's important, because if we can ignite that curiosity at whatever the level might be. We heard one of our graduates was talking, it was one of our higher level graduates, and they were in one of the CTE courses all 4 years, and she talked about how that is what spurred her to go to where she was going to go in college and beyond. So we want to create those opportunities, and some of these summer camps do that for our students.
Oh, and that made me think that at the Baker graduation, one of the students, his whole speech was about CTE.
Yes.
And they announced, Baker had 109 graduates, 68 CTE certificates with students. I mean, just think of that impact in the last couple of years on that. But that student totally talked about in his commencement speech, CTE. It was amazing.
It was impressive, almost 70% of their entire population.
Yeah.
That was neat. Do want to give a shout out to Claire Grell. Claire Grell, she's an elementary student over at Destin Elementary, and she took part in an art contest with the Department of Education in Volunteer Florida's, but it was about America 250. And this little young lady was one of 6 across the state to earn this award, and really the only one in the Panhandle area. So she's really stepping out, but then she was able to meet Governor DeSantis, take a picture with them as well. Had a little bit of interaction with the mom, who the family was quite proud that the family was there as well, some other siblings. So to be able to see this, and again, our students doing well just in different areas, and of course, this case, the arts, but this is a student who upon herself did this. So just congratulations to Claire. Also, Ruckle Middle School, we have an 8th grade student, Dean Penberthy, who was named a statewide winner in the Math Nation Show What You Know Showdown. And so that's across in essence, this is across the nation for the student to really show their math skills here. And I know I tease sometimes when I was in school on the math side, I wouldn't have necessarily been winning these competitions. Do want to say preliminary results are in on our state testing, okay? Not going to say what our grades are or anything, because we'll let that come out at the right time, but I could not be more proud of our students and the work that they've done. I could not be more proud of our teachers in the classrooms and our support professionals in the classrooms, our building administrators and district staff. The neat thing about this testing, and everyone has different opinions on the testing, which I fully understand, but one of the pieces that I appreciate is every single day you see the results come in. Every single day. So we see how we're doing, and we're able to see how we're doing compared to last year at this time as well. And I do want to give some updates, okay? When you look at our K through 2 literacy, which was a focus of ours, you're going to see some improvements. When you look at grades 3, 4, and 5 on the literacy and ELA side, you're going to see some improvements. When you look at the same for math, you're going to see some significant improvements. When you look at civics, which was an emphasis area as well, about 7 points up in civics. And when I say any point value, that could go up or down, depending on how the state calculates. But Joe Peterson, I think he'll tell you he feels as though he has his formulas pretty much the same as the state, but you're looking at some significant improvement in civics. You're looking at 5th grade science, and I'll say the sciences in general, 5th grade, 8th grade, and biology. Prior to last year, we were kind of flat. Last year you saw an increase. This year you saw increases, again, in 5th grade science, about 4 points up in 5th, about 4 points up in 8th, about 6 points up in biology. Algebra and geometry, we have shown some strong growth. Again, about 2 years ago, we had maybe a down year. And a down year doesn't mean that teachers weren't doing a great job. We still have a lot of those teachers who last year improved, and then this year again, you're seeing some growth again on the algebra and geometry. U.S. history has gone up across the district as well. So over 95% of the students have already tested. And again, for me, I eagerly wait for Joe Peterson's reports to come out each evening. He's put a whole lot of work into compiling all this. But I do want to say, most importantly, just a great job for our students. I also want to say, which is important, the amount of time and effort that goes in to testing seasons. When I say seasons, because there's a lot. So the work that our schools do, the pressure that's there for teachers, which I know that they feel, but I feel like they're going to have a great sense of internal pride when they see a lot of these scores start to officially roll out. But again, just appreciate Joe Pete and really putting a lot of this together, but just could not be more proud of that, but more to come. We already talked about the budget piece, so we're in that 72-hour cooling period. Not a lot of details as to what that looks like yet. Piece I'll say on the budget piece is, and I'll repeat it, this is months and months and months in the making. We've known what the Senate budget potentially would look like. We know what the House budget potentially would look like. Ms. Perry does a great job of taking into worst case scenarios. I appreciate very much the meetings that we've had with the majority of you and the rest of you to come. I appreciate the questions that you all have had as it pertains to budgets. I appreciate suggestions that you all have had as it pertains to the budget. I appreciate your preparation of looking at the budget, which it really helps, which I appreciate. And we've looked at the last 3 years of budget all the way to this year.
You better hold on. You haven't met with me yet on it.
Well, I've already seen you doing a lot of studying, so I expect your questions to come. But I just appreciate the involvement and your understanding and asking questions as it pertains to that. So just want to say thank you. And again, when this budget comes out, the last few years have been challenging. But we've had to make decisions to make sure that we get to a place where budgets are balanced to the extent possible, try to keep as much away from the schools as possible. That's getting harder and harder to do. As you know, there's been adjustments at school levels, there's been adjustments at the district level as well. That's part of what we go over in our meetings. So again, I just appreciate your help with that budget. I appreciate Ms. Perry and her group really putting all of that together, but I also appreciate our senior staff who, for the last several months, we've been really going through this. So really wanted to bring forth a good budget that I hope, I know will give us a balanced budget, but what I also hope will respect the value of our educators as well, which we'll never get to the full value of that, but I hope it's gonna do an even better job of that, but just appreciate all the hard work. And with that,
I just wanted to say to that, you know, I was just sitting here thinking back, if you think back when we started this school year and what we've had to pivot, shift, step back, move forward, lean over, whatever. It's amazing what our folks at the school sites and your staff have done to make it so that things, you know, you're talking about these great scores, the performance of our students. The professionals in this district work very hard at keeping anything negative to the students away from them. so that we can have that success. And I just admire the professionals in this district who do that day after day. And like I said, we've had a lot of curveballs thrown this year. Who would have ever thought at the beginning of school we'd be closing down 2 schools, that the budget would be this? But once again, the professionals in Okaloosa County School District continue to meet the mark and above to allow our students to perform at their best. And I just think we need to sometimes stop and say it, because that's what we're looking at here as we're closing out this school year. And I'm very proud to be a part of this district.
Thank you, Ms. Fancheck. As Dr. Small comes forward, as you know, we've looked at Reimagine Okaloosa. Last board meeting, we looked at kindergarten specifically. This board meeting, we're going to look at elementary as a whole specifically. And one of the things that I think that you're going to see is, I believe that we're in a day and age in public education where there are foundational pieces that people expect. People expect that their child's going to go to school and be safe. They expect that they're going to go to school, they're going to get a strong education. They expect that they're going to go to school and they're able to interact with students, create friends, have experiences. But what you're going to see here at the elementary side right now specifically is even honing down on those even more so, relationships, having good experiences at school, having fun while we're learning and still having high expectations. Technology has a place, but technology, there's a balance in not having just screen time. There's a balance of when it's appropriate, but then having kids out at recess, having kids out at PE doing things maybe even a little bit differently. So we're going to look at that. You're going to see some creative things that we talked about last time with our 3rd grade to geometry. You're going to see some things with gifted and talented as well. But it's a myriad of reimagining at the elementary level while still keeping a strong base about what we do. And none of this could happen without our teachers, our staff, and our administrators, and just appreciate many of them being a part of this process.
Thank you, Superintendent Chambers. Hello, everybody. Thanks for all your hard work with graduation. You know, if you got back in your car or truck and zoomed across Okaloosa County, north or south, and decided to pop in a kindergarten classroom in the fall, I hope you now know what that might look or feel like if you were walking into that classroom. And when you stepped out of that kindergarten classroom, I hope you would say, geez, I would want my kid or grandkid to be in that classroom. And that's what we're tasked to continue that feel throughout K through 5, because as Superintendent Chambers said, we're only as strong as our foundation, and our future class of 2038, you know, is only as strong as what we provide them in grades K, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So reimagining kindergarten has, and K through 5 has been an amazing experience where Mr. Chambers tasked me and my team to explore and get to talk with parents, talk with teachers, talk with people in the field that are experts like our specialists and our instructional coaches, pull all those ideas together and put the best of the best together. And that's what I'd like to move forward and share with you today. And I hope that you will see yourself, grandchildren or children, in this environment and what is possible. If you look into the eyes of these children right here, focused in on this project, the eyes don't lie. They are locked in, and that's what we want to see a lot more of. We are in a time where opportunities are provided and passions are ignited. Connecting to the kindergarten presentation, if you remember, every kindergarten class is going to have circle time, essentially. 15 minutes a day in the morning where they get together to talk about real things, look each other in the eye, look at their teacher in the eye, and talk about being a great classmate and a great citizen. This same consistency is going to be in every classroom at every grade level in the elementary, that each teacher has a time to sit with their students in a community atmosphere and talk about citizenship. We're going to rely on Harmony Academy, which specializes in this type of resiliency training, and will have specific protocols on how students are to meet up and buddy up with different kids in their classroom throughout the day. The goal is to teach kindness. We know that we do not want bullying activity or mean talk happening in our classroom, because that is distracting to our goal and it is hurtful. Therefore, this is the time where we can emphasize and double down on those behaviors that we know are right and are good for children. As we move into the other initiatives, these were inspired by what is already excellent in Okaloosa County Schools, and that's the 3 A's, the academics, arts, and athletics. In the academic realm, we will be bringing forward in the new school year Gifted and Talented program. These programs, you can see pictures of snippets of real-world experiences and projects that are going to come to life for students, because they may be self-selected, they may be involving a great deal of imagination, critical thinking, and an emphasis on teaching students soft skills in addition to technical skills. They're going to get a lot of chance to learn technical skills in middle and high school. From talking to experts in the field, we need to start helping students communicate effectively and present effectively and with power and charisma. So we would like to expand the gifted program to the Gifted and Talented program, so that now we're reaching over 1,000 students in the elementary schools. We have time for this because every elementary block of time during the day there is a designated 30 minutes where teachers teach differently. We are really good at remediation during that time. It is now time to even add a balanced approach to those students who continue to excel above the standards, to meet them where they are and challenge and give thought-provoking curriculum opportunities to those students during that time as well. A couple of models that might be employed at the school site would be a pull-out program where they could go to a teacher, or a clustering program, or right there in the classroom. But this opportunity occurs daily, weekly, throughout the months of the school year. If you can see, there is a little guy there trying to present a self-directed project. He loved basketball, so he created an app that does not exist, on how an app could record him playing basketball, then give him real-time feedback on how to be a better basketball player. And he created a marketing plan. He put together a timeline and a budget, and then he sold that idea to a panel of shark investors to persuade them to buy his company. So those type of experiences is what I would like to bring alive in the classroom at the elementary level, so that they have practice in that pitch and that persuasion. You can't beat it. It's a recipe for success. In the world of math, we are going to pilot an accelerated math initiative. This is a very small pilot to see how it works, but what this does is it will collapse and compress 3 years of curriculum in math into 2, basically. Third grade students will experience this math compacting, so that when they exit elementary school, they're on track for pre-algebra. In 7th grade, they'll hit Algebra 1 for high school credit and geometry for high school credit. Now, we currently have students that do that already. They are exceptional. And we have a summer bridge program, and they do pretty good. But how do we make it even better? We are going to try to strengthen that connection and that roadmap to the elementary school. The other A is for the arts. How do we up our game in the arts program? When I was tasked with this job, which I love, we were looking at who in the schools right now get an experience with hands-on art education. And I found that there were about 12 schools that currently do not experience art during the day. So we would like to level that up and provide these experiences for all students in Okaloosa County. If you take a look at the picture on the left, you can just see the benefit in the eyes of those two. Again, the eyes don't lie. They are connected to each other, which is so important. They are about to talk to each other. They have something in common. They are engaged not only with the paint, but with each other. Those conversations happen naturally sometimes with the arts. We have a self-portrait in the next picture, so a really study of self. And then a science project, that's a full-size body. They're learning science and the parts and inner workings of the body. And on the far right is an example of how we can integrate science, the contrast between landforms being a mountain or a valley, and also you could talk about language arts, mood, intensity, imagery. These are the kind of experiences that open synapses and brain waves for our youngest minds. In music education, we're a little heftier in that realm right now in Okaloosa County. There are just a few schools that do not have consistent music education, and we want to provide that. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, and flight to the imagination, and just life to everything. The second wave of this is I was speaking with Mr. Wooten in the district, and he had the idea and shared with me how phenomenal it would be if we could connect elementary students in 5th grade to the middle school or high school band experience to give them like a preview and kind of hook them in. So we started looking into that, and we do have some pockets of that, like elementary school in the central. Some of them come before school to Ruckle to get a chance to play in their band room. I found out that we have Lewis elementary schools walk down the hall and get an experience in the Lewis band room. And then we have Riverside in the north is walking over to Shoal River to get that middle school band experience before they get to middle school. So I threw that out to the principals at the principal meeting and say, hey, let's expand on that idea. And we've already got someone chomping at the bit. We've got a high school talking to Edwin's, how can they be involved and get those 5th graders tantalized into that musical experience. So more to come about that. And the third A is for athletics. Physical education reimagined. Pictured here in the top, that's Bob Sykes Elementary runners. That coach is so committed. He has an amazing after-school program that involves families. They have theme days. Same thing with Florosa down in the bottom. You can see their bibs. They participated in a weekend run. But again, these are like after school or before school activities. We want to bring that into the schools during that PE time so that everybody gets a chance to run. And so our coaches are very excited about training up these students on how to take care of themselves, be fit, be healthy. But here's the fun part. We want to take it to a cross-county, district-level cross-country meet in the fall. And the coaches are on board. They're very excited. They thought, man, this would be a great opportunity to not only get kids physically fit, but give them a chance to talk about healthy habits, and sportsmanship. What is it like to go to a big high school for a competitive event and be proper? Cheer for each other, but also admire and cheer for other schools on their athletic prowess. And there's just lots of opportunity here. You can see we already have themed out that first district cross-country meet where all 20 elementary schools will come together. It will be red, white, and blue and themed America 250. We have lots of exciting plans in store for this, and so more to come about that. We will also have a springtime major event similar to this, and more to come about that in the future as well. But here's your throwback. How many people here ever earned or competed for the Presidential Youth Fitness Program Award? I remember. I did not think I could do it, but I earned that blue badge because I could not do the flex arm hang, and I really, really had to work very hard. And it made me believe in myself, just like in your case too, probably. You could achieve something maybe you didn't think you could before. So PE teachers are already familiar with this as of last year and are committed in grades 3 through 5 to these 5 exercises that will start at the beginning of the year, and then students will have an opportunity to build up their endurance, build up their skill throughout the end of the year. And then, of course, there are 3 divisions. You can earn in the top 85%, receive the Presidential Youth Fitness Program Award. The 50% and above is National Merit Award, and then, of course, those that complete will also be recognized. And now this one is one of the most exciting that came across the table as an idea from the committee. We were looking for ways to run an intramural sport. This one came up because flag football involves boys and girls, and they are large teams. And we looked and found that there are partnership opportunities with NFL flag. And we have 6 schools already have written a grant to get free belts, footballs, all the equipment necessary to run their PE program. In addition, this is a philanthropic cause. They also publish free curriculum guide on training for coaches. So our PE department has all of that ready to go. Now, down at the bottom pictured, we have a school or 2 that cannot wait till next year, and they were caught on camera there practicing and during recess. They have their flags and their football, but Walker Elementary is already committed to playing Riverside in a culminating event in the spring after their curriculum is over. And again, like I said, we have several other schools on board excited about this. Here's a little sneak peek.
Girls' domination just picked up so much, so now you got both divisions. You still got co-ed, which is still the base of what it was before. But make no mistake about it, these 8-year-olds can flat out ball.
Hey, let's go.
Guys, eyes up, eyes up. They're good at the dip. You guys, when you pull their flags, they're gonna get low with them. Let's go.
I'm an 11-on-11 guy, right? I'm a tackle guy, man. And play design, I try to get my ball carriers one-on-one when I teach you football. How does play design change when you take the pads off, you take somebody off, you take the big guys out, and now you just have the skill players?
Big ready, JoJo.
Even the center is active. Center can go out for a pass, so anybody and everybody is active.
Don't let them screen you,
That's
bro.
the cool thing about playing with the youth, so everybody gets to catch a pass, everybody can catch a touchdown. You can pitch the ball, nobody else becomes the quarterback. You see the move. You see the move, right?
Oh, we got it!
So we believe Reimagine Okaloosa is a robust recipe for healthy, happy children ready to learn and ready to bring on the next generation of learners. So thank you very much for your time. And thank you, Superintendent Chambers, for the honor of being a part of this team.
Any questions? This is,
I have.
it's exciting.
So, Dr. Small, you showed snapshots of engagement. I'll just tell you that on the PE side and all, to see the kids running and just participating and not just standing around and doing nothing. I think that's important, that these kids are actually out there doing physical engagement, whether it's doing the sit-ups or the curl-ups or all that. That's what we used to do back in school. And I will just go back to the flag football. A lot of us that played football back in the day in elementary, we don't normally play out in the road, and we did exactly what they're doing now. So we just didn't have flags, we just did the touch and all that. But what I'm getting at there is that it gets these students, these children active, and I think that's going to be really important that we get them physically active out there. So.
And part of the discussion that we had in the committee was just to that point, was that when people and students are very active, it releases that cognitive load off of their mind. It lowers and gets control of their emotional regulation because they're spewing out those endorphins, they're having fun. When they come back to class, they're ready to learn. That is our theory, and we're here to test it out. There's research that backs it, but I cannot wait to see it happen. And in regards to, say, for example, flag football, we also were discussing, those are memorable times. You remember just then, you thought back to your childhood, when this generation of students gets to be sitting in your seat, we want them to say that about our school. I remember when I was in elementary school, right? And so that's the vibe that we're trying to create here, so that they have those lasting memories and friendships and relationships with their teachers and classmates.
And also going back to the athletic part of it, so not every school will obviously pick up on the flag football, but there's soccer, there's kickball, there's all kinds of other things that the schools can do to get their students engaged in the teamwork aspect of it. So.
That's right. We're just launching something that they'll take a bite, right?
I'm just glad that you're offering so many different opportunities, because it gives students more chances to be successful. So many ways. So, but all of it, whether if it's not flag football, maybe you're the arts one, it doesn't matter, as long as you can find your place. And we want students to feel successful and confident about what they're doing.
I love that. Yes, confidence is on my table, and I commit to that. I want that for our students. In regards to even the arts, like you said, that was a result of listening to parents. Parents want that for their kids, art and music. We know it's great too. But all back to the why, that you belong. These opportunities are here, and as a building block, even in kindergarten, the why, we want every student to belong here in Okaloosa County.
Thank you very much. Anything else? Awesome. Great.
Thank you.
And that is it, Madam Chair.
That's quite a show. That's good. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. All right, board members, you got to top that. So moving on down to your comments. I don't know what you got, so let's see. Dr. White, you have anything today?
Nothing this morning.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Bryant.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, again, congratulations to all the graduates. It was a great graduation season. I'd like to give God thanks because He made the weather perfect for everybody. And I was a little nervous for Crestview because we had a nice little storm a couple hours before the event, and wasn't worried that the event was going to be canceled. I was just more worried that it was going to be hot. And Mr. Meyer and myself, we were commenting on how pleasant the weather was. It really wasn't humid at all, and it went off without a hitch. I would also like to piggyback on this Reimagine and some of the things we're going to be voting on tonight, talking about Okaloosa schools and school choice. I will always be a proponent of school choice, but my choice is the Okaloosa County School District, and I am happy to see that we're putting an emphasis on going back to the basics, on making our schools attractive for those parents who are deciding what schools they go to. And I am so excited that we're offering opportunities out there that I don't believe other schools can offer out there. And so it's exciting to see reimagine Okaloosa schools. But I'll just tell you that I believe in school choice, but my choice will always be Okaloosa County schools. So.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Okay, Mr. Destin.
Nothing this morning, just wanted to thank my fellow board members, superintendent, for attending, Fort Walton's graduation, Silver Sands. I know how much it really means to me and those schools when we have representation that's just more than me. Everybody went to everybody's graduations on max amounts, so thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Heinley.
Okay, make it fast. Today's 26th. He was 26th President of the United States under the U.S. Constitution.
I didn't look that up.
Yes.
Who was it?
Roosevelt.
Which one?
Teddy.
Teddy, you got it. Very good. I give you a C+, maybe B-.
We need to reimagine.
One day we'll get in between the Civil War president, Lincoln, and then the turn of the century, because there's so many names in there that we just don't ever get to. So, like I was in St. Louis over the weekend and stopped by the Ulysses S. Grant memorial that they have there. So, great president and pretty cool to see.
There's a date range that I think that doing it on the 2nd and 4th every single month is messing us up. So if you guys just want to do a complete rescheduling so that we can hit the right range, I'll second that motion.
Okay, we'll look at that when we reschedule, yeah. Okay, all right, anything else? Okay. A couple of things I wanted to go over from Ms. Debbie Tate with the foundation. You mentioned some of the camps, and there's still openings for the camps you can get on our website. There are 6 different camps for some middle schoolers and just a variety of things. It's amazing what the students can take here in the summer. But she also wanted me to remind everybody that 4 local schools visited CareerSource and Okaloosa Technical College, where they gained valuable hands-on experience from practicing interview skills, building their own toolbox, again, talking about confidence, letting those students go through that process. And we are grateful for CareerSource, OTC, and Vocational Rehab for a 2-day event on that. And back on the 20th and 21st, 3 elementary schools participated in the Building Math program. They wrapped up their year 2 visiting the Choctaws Building Trades program. They also got to literally build toolboxes and apply their year-long learning in a real-world setting. So we appreciate some grants from Next Era Foundation and some other matching grants with our foundation. And a big shout out to Mr. Rynearson, Mrs. Robledo, and Mrs. Manucci for pulling all that together. So good things. And of course, the foundation doesn't stop. In the summer, we're already looking at Stuff the Bus, all the things. It just keeps going. So good things as we prepare, trying to finish out I think Thursday we got the last day of school, right? And early dismissal for all schools. And that can be found on our website, as well as I'm sure the individual school things. So get out a little bit early and then everything. So anybody in the staff have anything they would like to add today? All righty. What about over here, Mr. Strong? Okay. Ms. Appleberg, you have anything? Okay. All right, moving on along. Let's keep going here. Then we would go into 14, the public comment. This is the yellow card, 2-minute version. We do have 2 items on public hearing tonight. 15.1, public hearing for revision of School Board Policy 04-12, Student Technology and Internet Acceptable Use Policy, presented by Mr. Spolsky.
I think it's interesting that now we're talking about smart glasses and how we have to put this into policy now. So technology just changes, every day, and it does affect our policy. So I'm glad to see this is put in there. So.
Yeah, I see. I got my glasses on, looking at you. Got you going here, Mr. Bryant. You don't know what I'm seeing.
Well, let me get my Dick Tracy watch going on here. So.
All right, Dick Tracy. Who's Dick Tracy? Yeah, okay. All right, then 15.2, public hearing for textbook adoption. Instructional materials for English language arts, presented by Ms. Tasha Bates, TSA Curriculum Instruction. So we have elementary K through 5, middle grade 6 through 8, English language arts, and high school English language arts adopting textbooks. So that's another public hearing tonight.
So I do have a question regarding this. Are we going to have time to get the textbooks into the schools by the fall? I know it's always crunch time when it comes to textbooks, and I see Ms. Bates is coming up. Good to see you.
I have been working with the Florida School Book Depository to make sure they are aware of what we're going to adopt, and when monies are released, they are going to be able to be ordered.
Okay, all right. But we should have them August 11th?
We hope.
We hope.
Yes.
And to your question, and with Mrs. Bates there, so there's statutory timelines.
Right.
So that's kind of like where we are right now, and then after tonight, depending on how that vote goes, there's still statutory timelines. And then once everything's done with that process, then you have the ability to then order. And the piece that I appreciate is Mrs. Bates already reaching out to them so they know it's coming.
Yeah, that is good.
Well, and I agree we have a statutory time, but then there's always something that comes up that a publisher doesn't follow the laws and all that.
But interesting.
With the statute, from now on, we'll have the list ahead of time. That's already been approved.
Okay.
Right. Okay, great, thank you. All right, so that pretty much does it. It's been a very informative meeting, a lot of good things, a lot of great things going on in our school district. Okay, if no one else has anything, then I will adjourn this meeting. We're adjourned.